Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about negative space drawing. So what exactly is negative space? Well, on the right here you see a chair. Negative space is the area around the chair and within the chair. So how do we do negative space drawing? Very simply, by drawing not the chair, but the areas where the chair isn't. Let's begin. First, we're going to start with a clean white piece of paper, which I will draw over here. Next thing you'll do is take your pencil and your viewfinder. A viewfinder is a piece of paper with a square or a rectangle cut in the middle of it. It looks something like this. Now we're going to take our piece of paper, put it on our desk, sharpen our pencil, hold our viewfinder up, and focus in on the chair. When we focus in on the chair, we move the viewfinder closer to and farther away from our eye until we get it touching on at least 3 sides of the viewfinder. So let's pretend now that we're looking at this chair through a viewfinder. We would take our pencil and we would draw a large square or rectangle, depending on what shape our viewfinder has cut in it, and we draw that pencil right onto our paper. Now, looking through the viewfinder, we would get it touching on 3 sides, just like I mentioned before. I'm going to try and get it touching on 4 sides. So I'm going to pretend that this is the area of the viewfinder. Now it looks like I'm doing just 3 sides. Okay. Now if I had done 4 sides, it would have looked more like this. Okay, let's go with that. I'll just simply erase this area right here. Okay, so now that I have everything set, remember that the area outside of here I wouldn't actually be able to see at all. That area would totally be covered by my viewfinder. So this just does not exist, even a little bit, not at all. Now, taking my pencil, I would look at this area, the first piece of negative space. Shutting one eye and looking through the viewfinder is very helpful. So I'm not looking at the chair, I'm looking at the areas where the chair isn't. So I have the outside of my negative space over here. You can see where I'm drawing. I'm going to switch to red now to show you exactly what I would be drawing. Okay, I'm drawing the viewfinder, and now I'm drawing as sensitively as I can this outer contour of the chair. That's my first piece of negative space. Now what I'd actually be doing is I would actually be drawing this piece of negative space on here like this. So this is what my paper would look like at this point. Then I might go over and draw this over here. On my paper, once again, it would probably look more like this. All right? And then I would go on doing more and more and more of the inside shapes. Now, if I make a mistake, I can just go ahead and take my eraser, because this is all in pencil, and I can simply redo it to my liking. So the important thing here now is to get all of those shapes looking exactly right. All right. Now let's pretend that I'm all done now. I've got everything on this chair drawn. I'm just going to do a couple of other little areas here. Okay. The next thing I would do is I would take a marker and I would fill in this red area with marker. Unfortunately, I don't have anything really in the way of a thick marker to use on here right now, so you'll have to use your imagination. And all of these areas of negative space would be totally filled in. Oops, I made a little mistake here, so I'm going to have to correct it because I want the contours to remain exactly the same. So I'm filling these all in like this. On my paper, of course, I would be filling in these areas, making sure to stay in the lines. Sure wish I had a thicker marker at this point. Now let's pretend that my drawing is done. Let me go ahead and just do this one little area in here since I did it on the other chair. Actually, this would be a little straighter there, wouldn't it? Okay. All right. Let's pretend that my drawing is done. At this point, I would take my eraser and I would erase those areas that are, oops, once again, I have a little problem with drawing here. Let me put this back in. All right, so if you take a look at this area right here, you will now see that it looks very much like this over here. Okay, take a look at that little area. This area of red is negative space, and the areas that I've left totally white, those are called positive space. Positive space are the areas of the chair where the area is filled with the subject. Negative space is the area within and around the subject. So I've now drawn the chair without actually drawing the chair itself, simply by drawing the areas within and around the chair. These are all the negative spaces.